Taylor here with Agri Spray Drones. It is now the end of July. The busiest part of spray season is halfway over, almost 3/4 way over. These drones have covered a lot of acres this year, and especially this month. Now, not all those acres have been easy. There's been challenges. So what I want to go through today is what those challenges have been, what our team is doing, and more importantly, what EAVision is doing to address these challenges so that everybody can have better success with these drones. Firmware. That has probably been the biggest challenge on the J150 is firmware. You see, in March, there was a last public release that was stable and it worked just fine. And then there were features people were requesting. And so EAVision put together more firmware. It was tested. And then when it was released, there was changes made to it kind of last minute, if you will, by EAVision. And a lot of drones ran fine on this current public firmware, but when those changes were made, it seemed to actually mess things up with LiDAR on some of the terrain following things, and a few other weird random things too on public version firmware. And so EA pushed out 2 beta firmwares, and now we have people running on March firmware, people running on beta 1 firmware. I think for most J150 pilots, this has been kind of confusing as what firmware do we run? And to be honest, I don't have a perfect answer for you because we have a lot of pilots running a lot of different firmwares. The consensus though, in areas that they've seen challenges with firmware has been rolling back to March firmware, the prior public release. You don't get some of the features, but it does seem to reduce some of the random issues, terrain following issues, things like that. Although we've got plenty of folks running on beta firmware, beta 2 firmware, and public firmware with no issues. So that's one thing we're addressing right now with EAVision is firmware. Their team is here in the US and we're working through to figure out what was changed on the LiDAR specifically between March and beta and public version firmware so that we can have a new stable public version firmware. On the J150, one of the things we've seen is high vibration, possibly caused by maintenance, possibly caused by after crash repair, certain things not being checked, possibly caused by a number of other things leading to ancillary challenges on the 150. I'm going to show you a few of those right now. This is the first one. So this is the LiDAR, radar, CPU, camera bracket all in one. It sits right up underneath here under this front blue cover, and it holds all those components and it sits right over the frame. And this drone here was actually in a crash. You can see right there, it's busted out where it bolts onto the frame on the bottom side. Now, this sits up underneath the drone, just like that. And so oftentimes, if you're fixing a drone, you might not be checking right there because you don't see it because it's covered up by other stuff. But that can actually lead to vibration on the CPU, vibration on the LiDAR, on the radar. That can obviously cause lots of other issues as well. And we actually have seen these break without a crash. If your props are warped or if you have a hard landing, something like that, then these can break even without a crash, leading to higher vibration of the CPU, LiDAR, and radar. Here's the bolts on the CPU bracket with the cover off. As you can see, not easy to find if you don't know what you're looking for. Prop clamps have been another overlooked piece, especially after a crash, if you tag a tree, something like that. These prop clamps can become cracked or bent like this one is here. And on the drone, it might look fine. Now this one's got obviously some issue right there. But on the drone, it might look fine. But if you look at it from the side, take this cover off, take the props off, and look at the actual bolts that go through into the props and the prop clamp, you might see some cracking around there. And that we've seen actually fail in the air if it's not fixed. So kind of when in doubt, just replace the entire bracket here for the props. You have broken props especially after a crash. Replacing this entire prop bracket is highly recommended, or at least checking to make sure that it doesn't have any cracks or splits or bends like that, because that can cause a lot of vibration. And speaking of props and vibration, we've seen some prop warping as well. This can be caused by heat, by a lot of force on props, possibly strapping them down as well when it's really hot. It's been really hot a lot of days this summer. So I want to show you kind of what to look for, how to check for warped props. There's some obvious warping right here on this one. You can see the props are together. This was pretty obvious. This prop right here sits down lower than that prop right there. This prop right here is definitely warped. But how do you know if the props are warped? If they don't stick down lower, like this one right here, they're about the same right there. A great way to tell, it's usually the end of the prop, is if you get down and look straight at this leading edge. This leading edge right here, we can see the leading edge and the underside of the prop all along until we get to right over here. Leading edge, we don't see the underside of the prop. That means the tip over here, actually on both of these, is warped. We see the leading edge, we don't see the underside of the prop. This means the edge is tipped down and warped down that way. We'll look at one that's not warped. Right here on the very end of the prop, we can see the leading edge and we can see this back corner providing lift, and we can see the underside of the prop all along the back side of the back corner of the end of the prop as we're looking at that leading edge. Now, I know that might be a bit difficult to pick up on camera, but when you're looking at it, it's pretty clear. If you can see the underside of the prop the entire way as you're looking at the leading edge, all the way out to the end, then the prop's likely not warped. But if you cannot see the underside of the prop, looking at the leading edge, you might have a warped prop, and especially out of the tip of the prop, as we're going to see that start to happen first, because it is the thinnest out here on the edge of the prop. Warped props and cracked prop clamp can cause vibration. Vibration is going to travel down through the arm and into the frame, and that's where making sure that these bolts from the arm to the frame are tight. Now, we've seen some challenges in the field where these come loose, just like this one here. These come loose through multiple flights. And if you've caught my B-Pack videos where you check your batteries, props, arms, clamp, and clean your drone, you know the importance of tightening this. Let me show you the difference here between these two. So I don't always have a torque wrench with me, but a torque setting that we're using is 20 Newton meters on this 10 millimeter bolt that holds the arm into the arm bracket. And when you have it that tight, you can see whenever you move the arm, it stops. It doesn't keep moving. That also means that it's tight within this arm bracket right here, even not clamped in, it's still tight within the arm bracket. Whereas this one here, whenever we actually clamp it in, we still have movement right there within the arm bracket, up and down. That's going to cause more vibration going into the frame. That's also possibly going to cause arm lock issues or vibration going into the bracket that hold, or the bolts that hold the bracket onto the frame. So 20 Newton meters of force. Wiggle the arm a little bit. Check it again. There you go. So now you can see we've got very little play in that arm. When I move it, it stops. It doesn't keep moving. And we clamp it in. We've got very little, if any, movement right there between the clamp and the arm. Make sure you're tightening these arm brackets. Sometimes they even go a little bit above 20 Newton meters. And if you're out in the field, just get them tight and make sure they stay tight. Something else we've seen on 150s is the arm brackets here as they mount to the frame. Over time, some of these bolts can actually get loose, these little bolts right here. And if you can see this one here, yeah, I'm able to actually turn it and tighten it down more. If these can actually get pretty loose over time, so making sure that these all stay tight, and you check these every once in a while. You can also just take your arm, and when you lock it in, when you wiggle it up and down, if you look right here between the housing of the arm clamp and the frame, if you see any movement right there between the two, then you definitely know you have loose bolts. But even if you don't, good to take the cover off and make sure that they're tight, both on the front and on the back. And make sure you check the bottom side down here as well, because there's the same bolts on the bottom side right here. And these ones are just a little bit loose. Now, last place we've seen vibration be a challenge is on the battery guides and terminals. So this one here, you can see this battery, if you look right there, this battery can move back and forth on those guides just ever so slightly. If you look right up here where the terminals are at, that causes those terminals to flex up and down. So as the drone is stopping and starting, or if you have a lot of vibration coming through a rear arm because everything else we talked about, a warp prop, cracked prop clamp, loose arm bolt, and that can be causing this battery to vibrate more on the terminals. Another challenge we've seen on the 150 has been underneath this cover on the rear arms. There's these power cables that go through to the spray system right there. They come through the arm, down through the arm, into the spray system. And we've seen with high vibration and with tight cables, some of these power wires actually start to rub through onto the arm. Now you can see this one here has the rubber grommet, and every drone that's out there should have rubber grommet. Now, if you're repairing it, a drone, you want to make sure this rubber grommet is put back in, or the arm actually has that molded piece on there to protect these wires. These wires right here, if they're tight, can actually rub on the arm as it goes down and actually rub through and cause a short or cause a spray system to go out. If it does short there, then it might not just be the spray system. It could affect other systems in the drone. So make sure that you keep an eye on these spray cables, make sure they're not too tight, make sure that they're protected as they go down through the arm. Now, knowing all this is important, but more importantly, what is EAVision doing to address these challenges on the 150? Now, we've been pushing EA pretty hard. We have a guy, Alex, in China right now at EA headquarters as we've been going through spray season here in the US, looking at hardware improvements, looking at software improvements, and EAVision has now promised to provide upgrade kits, a maintenance and improvement plan for the 150, which would include new hardware and would include, obviously, software updates as well. Now, timelines on this and more details will be coming out soon, but our biggest goal here is to make sure that pilots have success year after year and that their equipment remains reliable or improves in reliability. So more details to come soon on the maintenance improvement program for the 150 and of course other drones as well. Now, there's also quality control that we want to make sure is very, very good on these drones. Another thing that Alex is doing in China right now at EAVision headquarters. So instead of me talking about quality control and testing, I figured it'd be good for Alex to actually show you what he's looking at, what he's talking about when going through with EAVision right now.
All right, guys, I'm going to show you a quick walkthrough of some of the aging testing that we got going on for product and quality and stuff like that. All right, so basically if we walk into this box here, the temperature is set to around 50 degrees Celsius. We let it fluctuate between 40 and 55. Right now we're just doing a continuous hold at 50. What we're doing here is simulating basically a 300-hour hardware test. To do that, obviously 300 hours is a lot. We have another cage over across my way that I'll show you here in a bit that actually we are feeding it batteries. But currently this drone right now, we have 8 power supplies from your chargers hooked in to basically this drone. So it's continuous feed. So we can basically run this drone at a continuous cycle. Again, like I said, it's 50 degrees Celsius in here. So what we're testing for is, we're just running this drone. This is basically a fail test. We're seeing what fails on this component. Testing, new products. Ouch, that motor is very hot. But obviously, testing new props, new arm locks, new arms, new, ESC boards, stuff like that. So what we're doing here is this drone is basically strapped down to this frame where it's not going anywhere. The drone thinks it's in a simulated flight, so it's going to simulate takeoff, it's going to simulate going forward, turning to the left, turning to the right, climbing, lowering altitude, simulate a landing where it basically lands. It runs about an 8-minute flight cycle. It'll land for 1 minute, simulating, battery swap, refilling, and then takes back off. We're gonna do this until stuff fails. Right now we're sitting on around almost 72 hours in this chamber. So far everything's doing pretty good. So there's that chamber. I'm gonna slip over to the other one and show you kind of that one as well. All right, so this one we're doing the same thing. Again, it's the same style of cage. We got it set to 50 Celsius. Again, it's the same test as what we're doing there, but the only difference on this one is we're integrating the batteries. You know, we're basically hand swapping this one, you know, testing new tops, new BMS tops, a new locking system and stuff like that. Okay, this is another testing QC machine. What this does is, so this is the solenoid that goes into the drone. This system will come down and seal this system, and we actually pressurize the system. From there, it will hold pressure, make sure there's no leaks in the valves or anything like that, and then it will actually function this to make sure, you know, it is opening and closing correctly and everything like that. So this is basically a solenoid testing system. Okay, so what we got here is another testing station that tests spray ESCs and nozzles. So obviously it's fed by a battery. It's hooked into the control system. We got water down there. Obviously pumps going in, pushing it through. We make sure we test that the spray ESC is functioning properly, the nozzles are functioning properly. We don't see anything abnormal. So what you're looking at here, basically this is a main controller vibration test. So we put in main controllers, the CPUs into here. Obviously we feed it power, make sure everything's on and functioning correctly. Then we have this vibration table that puts it through a lot of vibration cycles. From there we're looking for, you know, any component failures inside the CPU, anything abnormally going on. This one here is basically for the auger system on the spreader. It goes into this jig, put power and everything to it, make sure everything's functioning properly. So this is basically, it's a way you can check props, QC props, you know, new box of props, stuff like that. A couple steps here. You know, so first the props are weighed, and they're putting in these pairs. You can see this weight here and here. So they'll find, you know, ones that weigh very close to themselves. And then from there, as you can see, this is 364.1, 364.8. So this is to show that it is not balanced anyhow. After they weigh it, then they put it on this balancer. And this tells you if the prop is balanced, almost just like a teeter-totter. What they're going for is basically, you know, 0.4 plus or minus 0.4. So obviously we have, you know, 1.53. So that means this set would be unbalanced. Okay, so this is the vibration table. You can actually see it working right now for the RCs. We put in the RCs here, shake the holy hell out of it, make sure the remote still functions properly, nothing came loose in that testing as well.
Now, this is by no means a complete list of all of the challenges or issues we've seen on the J150. Of course, we've seen spray system issues, we've seen issues with the nozzle ESCs, battery terminals on some drones. Of course, not all drones have we seen this, but this is what we have for you guys today. We will bring you guys more information on everything else we've seen in the near future and what EAVision is doing about it with many, many more details. All right, see you, thanks.